The first plague. Water turns into blood. The second plague, frogs.
The second plague, frogs, is the next issue we face. Our objective is to capture 4 frogs and make a frog soup for Uncle Jared, who, for some reason, swallowed the key to the box containing the next black cube. He drinks the soup and vomits the key. We also meet Jacob's sister, Elizabeth. Surely, she can't be that weird.
Good to feel your presence again, brother.
Elizabeth's word choice here is very interesting. Her blindness is mentioned a few more times in the game in future chapters.
Fear didn't make me blind. Eyes blinded by the fog cannot see the truth.
The fear didn't make me blind line indicates that she might have not been born blind, rather became blind later in life, perhaps for psychological reasons. She also mentions eyes blinded by the fork cannot see the truth, making a reference to the thick fork covering the island during the locust plague. I'll elaborate more on that in the 8th plague part. Wrapping up this part, we give the frog soup to Uncle Jared and he vomits the key to the box containing the next cube.
The third plague, gnats and lice.
The next plague, gnats and lice, is responsible for one of the weirdest scenes in the whole Paradise Saga. I'll get into it in a minute. Here, we have some more contact with our brother, David, since in previous chapters we only see him briefly standing on a rock outside the island gates.
It's been a while, brother.
In this chapter, David complains about low blood sugar levels, so that's our mission for today. But we have to take a few things on the way. Severed ears are a fairly common motif in the whole Isle series, and here's some ear symbolism. Ears have been associated with memory, receptivity, inquisitiveness, and awakening. Sounds familiar? We have to feed the ear too, some carnivorous plants, to get some flowers by the way. But back to David, we collect tree juice, honey, and berries. That attracts some gnats and
Sugar level is very low today.
yeah, he becomes a lava, even with context this game. Makes no sense. I love it. Anyways, we collect some flowers for our mother and get the cube.
Fourth plague. Flies.
So we get to the fourth plague, Aphelis. Here, David's cocoon hatches and he comes out with a mosquito head because this game couldn't get weirder. Instead of having a bunch of Aphelis everywhere, David, is the plague we have to deal with. There is nothing more going on here, just our family hiding from David in random places in the island. After seeing David feed off a few small animals, we find our dad hiding in a tower and find out why the rest of our family was hiding.
One day you will learn the true nature of sacrifice.
Our father tried to sacrifice us when we were kids, but killed our MOM instead. It seems he still intends to sacrifice us. If you have familiarity with the plagues of Egypt, you know what's coming.
The fifth plague. Diseased livestock.
We got rid of our gnat brother. Yay. But now we have to deal with a sick cow that appeared out of nowhere on the island. At least that we already knew about the goat though. Our objective is to make Uncle Jared a sandwich, the Rusty Leg sandwich to be more specific. You can find the recipe at the shack. Making the sandwich in the following order gets you an achievement: lettuce plus burger plus cheese plus bacon plus ketchup plus cucumber. After getting the meat and finishing that goddamned vegetable puzzle, we can prepare and serve the rusty patty. After Uncle Jared eats the rusty patty, Dad says this:
I don't trust the meat today. Our cattle has been sick.
Uncle Jared is in the cabin now, and we find the cube thereafter he finishes. He kind of dies here but comes back on the next chapter, don't worry.
The 6th plague, boils.
In the next plague, boils, we get a special visit from SCP-049, the good old plague doctor on his mission to cure pestilence. It seems Uncle Jared died after eating the sandwich, so our mission today is to revert that. And we're doing it Jackhand, the Cuckoo Clock Heart style. A few other weird things happen. The plague doctor doesn't do much and Uncle Jared comes back to life. So that's nice, I guess.
Paradise would not exist without great sacrifice. The 7th plague, hail.
The 7th plague, hail. David pops out of the eyes, and he's human arguing, because of course he is. Our mission is to unfreeze our brother and take him out of the lake, and that single quote is .it. We break the ice and put a dead squirrel on his head.
It's pretty cold in paradise. You are ready to meet your destiny.
Don't. Take me instead.
The 8th plague, locusts.
Now we get to the 8th plague, locusts, my least favorite visually of the 10. But David, Jared, and Nicholas sing a funny song.
There was a man, he is my dad. There was a man, only brother I had. There was a man, no hat does he wear. There was a man in the middle stood there. There was a man, all skin and bones. There was a man, no hairs under his nose. There was a man, he stands to my right. There was a man, hair gray as first light. There was a man who was really quite fat. There was a man, feathers perched on his hat. There was a man, had a clock for his heart. He was a man, the last man, and the man from the start.
Okay, but remember the frog section when I was talking about Elizabeth? Yeah, I'm going to talk about it now.
Eyes blinded by the fog cannot see the truth.
We give Elizabeth the eyes so she can see through the thick fog covering the island. The fog covers our sight, and the longer we take to do something, the harder it gets for you to see. We have to do things faster, and the white layer on the screen makes it difficult to pay attention to details except the huge locust. We only see silhouettes, not what is actually happening. But Elizabeth can. She has eyes to see through the fog. She wasn't blinded by the fog. She was blind already, so she can see the truth when we give her the eyes. The truth she can see is related to the writings on the wall behind her. The owls are not what they seem. We have to follow an owl through the fog to move forward in this chapter, and the owl motif appears again in the next two chapters to end this nonsense rambling. The owls are not what they seem. Moving on, there's a huge locust walking around the island, and it is attracted by sounds, so by clicking on a goat, the locust will go after it and kill the goat. Going to the lake, we meet our mother's corrupted soul, and she tells us this.
Memories are the key to your future.
The motif of memories being the keys to certain time periods is constant in the whole series, and chronologically, this is the first time hearing this. Now we have to give a horn to Grandma Margaret. She attracts the locust and it takes her away, so we get the cube to move on to the next plague.
You have to leave.
The ninth plague. Darkness.
Next, darkness. We find our family around a fire waiting to consummate the ritual. This chapter is based off zodiac signs and magic powders our family members play, mimicking with us, and we have to guess which sign they represent.
Blah, 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 blah. Roar! Son, be prepared. The glorious day of the lake is coming.
Nicholas warns us about the glorious day of the lake, another clue about our fate and how our lives are tied to the rusty lake. We find an owl next to the lake. It is sitting over a box that we later find out contains our mother's bones. After finishing the zodiac puzzles, we find an owl-shaped temple by the lake. The owl symbolism is here again. Encounters with owls can mean bad news. Owls are omens of bad luck. They can mean death, deceit, and deception. We see a flying owl next to the altar. A flying owl means conflict with family members. but owls can also mean a combination of wisdom and death. Some indigenous cultures believe owls guard sacred knowledge of the afterlife and are guides for the dead in the post-mortem. Onirologists say that owls can mean your unconscious mind is trying to contact you to be more aware of your actions and surroundings. Despite not finding info on owl-shaped temples, it surely doesn't mean good news. Either way, seeing owls, be it island or in dreams, is bad luck. But back to the game. We grind our mother's bones into magic powder. We throw it in the fire to get the cube.
The 10th plague, death of the firstborn.
We're finally at the last plague, death of the firstborn. It all led to this, our final mission, our destiny forever bound to the lake. Our family is preparing for the ritual, and so are we. I said earlier, if you had any familiarity with the plagues of Egypt, you knew this was coming.
I hope I'm not the one that dies tonight.
Soon, we find ourselves inside the well in the altar, now located inside the owl temple. There we find animal masks, the same ceremonial masks we see in the cube visions. After collecting the masks, we find our mother's corrupted soul. She's standing near the recipe for the elixir. She gives us a message.
Here is written the lost memory, the lost element of the elixir.
My memories are the key, not only to the past, but also to the future.
Our mother is wearing an owl mask this time. It's another omen of what is about to happen to us. After collecting the masks, we give them to our family members in the island. They tell us it's time.
It's time. It's time.
You are ready to meet your destiny. our time has come. Paradise will rise again.
We burn along with the temple. We die to become a corrupted soul, but we incarnate in a new creature known as Mr. Owl. In the fire, we have a vision of the future of Paradise, the hotel. In 1799, Elders Vanderboom is born. All characters are dubbed by the same voice actor, Bob Rafferty. Jared's first spoken line is there are 50 unlockable achievements in the Paradise game. Using the symbols collected in the achievements, you can unlock the owl mask. Caroline appears in paintings in other games. Her portrait is titled Lady of the Lake by an Universe. Painter Lacus Fleer, but the piece itself is based on Salome with the head of John the Baptist by Jacob von Oostenen. The other members of the Islander clan probably died in the fire, but their official statuses are unknown. Islander is Dutch for from the island.